What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the My Crypto Journey live stream here for the MCJ podcast. Today, we have Crypto Kindness on the stream to hang out with us. We're going to learn all about him and, of course, learn about Hex, Pulse Chain, and PULSEX, which is going to be absolutely insane. Welcome, man. How's it going?
Oh, man. Hey, thanks for having me today, Rodney. Really, really nice to be on your stream. Things are going great. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening out there, and we just kind of sit back and wait at this point, which is always the hardest part.
Yes, absolutely. So were you just on a trip right now? Where did you get back from?
Where did I get back from? I just did a Northern Michigan tour, and prior to that, we were out. The family was out in Canada. We were doing some skiing, trying to take advantage of the winter without freezing to death and make some fun out of it.
Nice, nice. Where are you from?
I'm up here in Michigan. How about yourself?
Okay, so Michigan. Okay, California.
Okay, nice.
So a little warmer down here.
Yeah, well, SoCal, is that a good assumption?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I pay like a ridiculous rent for like a trash can and a tent here a year. So there's that. Dude, yeah. I get so jealous every time I have a friend who's like from anywhere else in the world or the United States. I'm like, yeah, but I got a 10-car garage, right. A personal chef, and for $100K a year. It's like shit.
No big deal.
Exactly.
I'm on 10 acres for 20 grand. Like, what?
Jesus. I was like, it's crazy. What's up? Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Marty. Okay. So question. We have you here to talk about Hex today. So interesting project. Very cult-like a lot of projects that are in my space. But I do have to say, Richard Hart knows his shit when it comes to what he's talking about.
Yeah. Hex is, I don't want to call it a cult because then it would mean that I'm part of a cult, but it does have that type of ring to it. When you talk to the people, they're definitely all in, and you can't say anything bad about it, or they'll block you, or they'll yell at you or something like that. I try not to be that way. I want to educate people, and if you got questions, and if you say, hey, this is a scam, I'll be like, okay, let's talk about that, because I don't believe it is. And if you have some information otherwise, let's talk about it. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, Hex is a lot of fun. Pulse Chain, though, is really what's exciting, and I think it'll bring a lot of people in. And the more eyes we've got on the Pulse Chain, people are going to see Hex. There's going to be some explosive growth opportunity for both Hex, Pulse Chain, and of course PULSEX, which is the DEX that's being built on the Pulse Chain.
Awesome. Can you explain that for some people that are watching? Because a lot of people are unfamiliar.
Okay. Yeah, but to help me answer your question, I'm going to ask you another question. When you say explain that, like the Pulse Chain, how the whole thing is happening, like how in depth do you want me to get here?
Yeah, the Pulse Chain, because a lot of people in my space right now, we're just used to smaller cap community shitcoins, like we said before. And the funny thing is that the cult mentality is way crazy. It has to be way crazier here. Like if you say anything, man, you're a fudder, they'll attack. It's insane. So tell them about the Pulse Chain and what exactly it is when you compare it to Ethereum and those sorts of things. Because you gave me a good example before the stream started.
Sure. So to kind of give you a little bit of history of it, Richard Hart designed Hex on the Ethereum network and had no intentions of doing anything more than that. But as Ethereum started to get more and more used, more and more congested, and as a result, more and more expensive, I mean, gas fees are just stupid. They are.
Yeah.
He said, well, this is dumb. It's going to ultimately hurt my product, which is Hex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of Ethereum and basically beat ETH 2.0 to ETH 2.0 and make it way easier, way faster, and exponentially less expensive. And then that way my product Hex will be able to survive. Because the idea behind Hex is that you lock it up. The easiest comparison is a time deposit or a certificate of deposit. They're not the same, but it's the best comparison. So you go into the bank, you give them $1,000, you lock it up for 6 months, a year. They give you a fixed amount of interest rate for doing that. And then in a year, you come back and get your money back. Well, with cryptocurrency and smart contracts, that's a smart contract. So at the end of your time of staking Hex, the blockchain needs to compute the smart contract. And the more computation that goes into that, the higher the gas fee. So if you have a 2-year stake on Hex, the gas fees can be $750, $1,000, depending on what the GUI on Ethereum is. I've seen people unstaking for $2,200, and that's prohibitive. So what the Pulse Chain is Richard Hart said, I'm just going to copy Ethereum. Ethereum is great. it is a, you know, I don't want to say flawless because it's had some challenges, but it is the most battle tested layer 1 out there, smart contract platform. And its biggest problems right now are simply the fact that it's proof of work versus proof of stake.
Yep.
And I mean, that's really the biggest problem. There's a lot of other problems because it does have a limited amount of tokens. You know, there's just, it's too small for the amount of things that are built on it. So he said, I'm going to take Ethereum, I'm going to copy it. So for example, Binance Smart Chain is a fork of Ethereum, but what Binance did different is they just copied Ethereum and they ran with the code, but they didn't bring over anything that was already built on Ethereum. They just basically took the footprint of a successful city and moved it over here, but they didn't bring the buildings, the businesses, and anything with it. So what Richard Hart is doing is he's copying Ethereum and he's bringing everything with it. So the example I gave you earlier, and I hope this is helpful, is imagine you take a satellite picture of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is really big city. It's thriving. It's experienced a tremendous amount of growth over the last 20 years, but with that has come headaches. You know, it's anywhere you go, any time of day, the traffic is a nightmare. It can take you 3 hours to go, 10 miles. There's pollution. Everything is a mess, but yet LA is a great city. It's got great infrastructure, great buildings, great business, all this type of stuff. So if you just took a satellite picture of LA and moved it over here into a different state with lower taxes, lower fees, and clean air, and said, okay, great, we're going to take everything we loved about LA, but we're just going to move it out here to an area where the taxes are lower, and we're going to let people come into our city, and everything those people are used to, the buildings, the skyscrapers, the subways, the highways, everything is the same as LA, except for now the highways are 10 times bigger and you can, get somewhere without too much traffic. So what Richard Hart is doing is he's bringing everything about Ethereum over onto the Pulse chain, except for there's going to be 1 trillion coins, or actually like 100 trillion coins instead of just 121 million. So it's not going to get too crowded too fast. So like Uniswap is an ERC20 token, and Celsius is a banking platform that is built on Ethereum. All of those companies, their coins will be copied over on Pulse chain. And those companies can, if they want to, just change a couple settings in their wallets and how they do business, and immediately be transacting on Pulse chain without missing a beat because the code is the exact same. So I'll stop there because I just unpacked a lot. First of all, I want to make sure that was understandable, and second of all, let's get into some questions on that.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So for those who don't know, that Binance, the biggest exchange by volume, and it's not even close. It's not even close. Binance is the biggest centralized exchange. Yeah. They were an ERC20 token and then made their own blockchain. And I think that, the reason why they were able to do that is because of the fact that there's so much money in the project and they had a huge following. So that's why they're successful. Now, when I see Hex, if you look at the market cap, they're in the high 30 billions, and CoinMarketCap doesn't rank them correctly as they should. They just don't. I forgot the reasons why they don't do that, but they just don't for a lot of projects. So that's why I'm so bullish on the fact that Hex can make the Pulse chain and PULSEX and become successful, is because they have so much money in the project. And I think that's important, right? You need liquidity to do big things. And the reason why I like Hex is that because it teaches a lot of people, unlike on my channel, a lot of tokens we cover, it's about 100xing, 1000xing in a short amount of time. And so when you have to stake your tokens, which I've been into staking in other projects for quite a while, I have some stuff staked in other projects. You have to literally delay instant gratification. You have to wait a couple years, and it sucks, but the benefits are insane if you just wait. And I think that path, that patience is the most efficient way to make a lot of money in crypto. That's just my opinion. I mean, there's fairy tale stories of people becoming insanely rich, right? But I think that is the correct path. So yes, all Ethereum tokens will be airdropped on the Pulse chain if I'm hearing that correct. I think that's what I've been listening to. That's what I've been reading, and those sorts of things.
So when you have, do you own any Ethereum tokens?
Yeah, just for I have in my main portfolio, yes, but I have some in my wallet just to use for transactions. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So when the Pulse chain launches,
Ethereum tokens.
Yeah, not Ethereum.
A ton.
Ethereum tokens.
Oh yeah. Oh, a shit ton. Yeah.
Okay, so when Pulse chain launches, all you're going to do is go into your MetaMask, and we can even do a little example of this and switch the settings to the Pulse chain. and then, go into the block finder, which is, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's similar. It's it'll be PulseChain's version of EtherScan.
Yeah.
And you'll look in your wallet, and you'll see all the coins there. And then you click on the coins, you'll click on the link to add it to your wallet. And in a matter of 5 minutes, you'll have all your, they're called PRC20s. They'll be in your wallet right there. Now, I think there's an assumption that, all of a sudden these are going to have huge value. So it's not like, let's use Ethereum for a perfect example. If you have an Ethereum token today, it's $2,600 or something like that. When it's copied over onto the PulseChain network, the PRC20, it's not going to have any value at that point. In order for that value to be built, people are going to have to provide liquidity into the exchange and set up some ratios and dollar amounts for those to go to have an actual like USD value to them. But just wait. I mean, that's going to happen. People are going to be bringing over a lot of financial power. They're going to be bridging over, USDC and USDT and a few others to provide liquidity, because the decentralized exchange of PulseChain, which is PulseX, is, according to Richard Hart, going to be the largest decentralized exchange, period. So yeah, I see you've got here, you're at the Faucet.
Oh, exactly. This is where you can do the whole testing about it. So I had the PulseChain testnet on my MetaMask account already. I already set it up. I'm actually watching your video right here. And of course, you guys, if you want to check out Crypto Kindness, links to his Twitter and his YouTube are in the description down below. Fantastic video on PulseChain full testnet tutorial. Actually, I hate when I go to videos and they don't put links. So many videos do like samples and do not, like, all the links are in here. So what was the website? Because you have the Pulse testnet coins, you have the Pulse testnet on Uniswap.
So go to the very first one there. That it isn't hyperlinked for whatever it is. It's just pulsechain.com.
Okay, let me see.
Pull that up, and what we're going to see right away is the settings. So right there in the very middle, those are the settings that you need to enter into your MetaMask to change over to the PulseChain testnet network.
And so you literally just go up top of your MetaMask wallet, you put add network. It takes you to a separate page, and it's a copy and paste job from here, right? The network name. So any network you're adding.
The only thing you might have to do, bounce back to that MetaMask there, and go over to the left and go to advanced settings.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you do that, but scroll down somewhere in there. There's a toggle switch for allow test networks, and yours is probably mine
should be on. Mine should be on. Let's see.
It might not be in advanced settings. It might be
show test networks. Yes,
show test network. Yep. Sometimes you have to turn that on in order to add a test network, but somehow
the Rapstein Kovan. Okay, so these weren't ready to rock. Yeah, so okay.
That's it. So now that you got PulseChain, you went over to the Pulse Faucet there.
Yep, right here. And then you could send it and whatnot, right?
Yep. Then you get, and what's important for your listeners to know is that this is a test network. So you get one test Pulse token per day. And it's just a test token. There's no value to it. But it's there for you to play with. So you can go to some of the other websites and just get used to how the PulseChain is going to work.
Yep. So you could stake it, the staking thing. Right here for your, when you connect that over here. This is where you can check your staking. Now, I didn't really get this registered validators. What does this mean by misdemeanors and felonies? What the hell does that mean?
So I'll answer this as best I know it. I don't know the ins and outs, but basically there's two things that I was able to find that qualify as a misdemeanor and as a felony. And a misdemeanor is like if the node is down. If it's not running 100% of the time, if they have downtime, an hour, half hour, 20 minutes, I don't know what it is, but any downtime is considered a misdemeanor. So they assign kind of like a penalty to it. And the reason why they want to do that is if you get so many penalties, they're going to bump you down to, like, if you're not performing, they're going to allow another person that has a node or a validation that's up and running. They'll bring that person into the picture. So they're only going to allow, I think, oh gosh, I don't remember the number of validators they're going to allow, so I'm not even going to guess. But let's just, for the sake of argument, call it 10. You will see on this list, maybe 20 validators ready, and the ones that aren't being used are like they're in the hopper. So if somebody gets too many misdemeanors or too many felonies, that validator will get bumped out, and the people that are waiting will be allowed in. So a felony is a little bit more, well, as the word felony would lead me to believe, it's a bigger problem. So I don't know how this would happen, but if there's any proof of corrupt behavior, like if they're not properly approving contracts, or if they're trying to change a contract after it's been submitted, if there's any sort of tomfoolery going on, that's a felony. And I don't know how many felonies you got to get before you get bounced out, but that's just an example of what a misdemeanor is and what a felony is, in this validator page. So I don't get too worried about misdemeanors. I probably wouldn't stake with someone that had felonies.
Got it. Okay, awesome. Someone has a question. How will cross-chain price arbitrage impact the tokens that are copied? I don't think that there's going to be much of a price impact, correct? Because when you're bringing things over, you have to make pairings, correct? And if the pairs are, if you pair them correctly, it should be the same price.
Yep. And that just depends on whoever's providing liquidity. If they're trying to sell their PRC20s copies quickly and for just a quick buck, they might put in a pairing that is less than a 1-to-1 ratio. But once they put in those pairs, basically the market decides at that point. So the first couple liquidity providers will kind of establish where the baseline is. And then after that, the market just does its thing. So early on, I don't know how much of an opportunity there's going to be for arbitrage.
Okay, because there's when we see it with exchanges and those sort of things, there's always a little bit of a price difference, like a tiny bit. Yep. They never really get 100% correct, but for the most part, it should be pretty much the same. And I think that for credibility, you want to make it the same as it is on other networks if you're providing liquidity.
Yeah, and you'll probably see like the more established coins will hit price parity quickly. Whereas the farther down the list, more towards the shit coins you get, there might be a bigger discrepancy in the parity pricing.
You always see that on exchanges for these smaller cap community tokens. Like the price is like it's significantly different. Like for like Saitama's one of the ones we talk about here. It'll be like at a 19 on like it's 15 right here with 7 zeros on like an exchange on an exchange is like to me that's too much of a difference.
It is, yeah. And early on with PulseChain and PulseX, there's not going to be quite as much of an opportunity for that, just because, straight away, the only things that are going to be on it are essentially Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX. We've got Liquid Loans now, which is coming out. There's another project called Hedron. There is a Pulse Doge being launched. I mean, there's a lot of stuff being launched. There is a list. Unfortunately, I didn't think to write down the website before I jumped on with you, but there is a website that gives a list of all of the projects that are either A, building, or B, currently built on Ethereum, but they're going to transition over to PulseChain because the fees are going to be so much less. So it's really cool. I mean, there's a lot of projects right now that are already established on Ethereum that have said, as soon as PulseChain is launched, we're coming over because, gas is killing us. PulseChain is going to be faster. It runs on a 3-second block time. And, Rodney, I can't say this enough, dude. The gas fees are like 5
It's everything.
5.5 zeros and a 1, and that's Pulse, not pennies. It's like it's going to be a thousandth of a penny to do a gas transaction. It's so much fun.
It's better than Avalanche, which is nutty. I was watching some test swap videos, and I love Avalanche. And everyone likes solutions to Ethereum because I was making a staking video the other day, like on how to stake more Hex. Literally sat and waited like 5 to 10 minutes for this damn transaction to go through on for staking, because it's a contract interaction, but it's on the Ethereum blockchain. It's a pain in the ass. I'm sitting there like, dude, needs to be faster, but it's the trusted brand, so everyone's going to use it.
That's exactly right. And that's what's so cool about PulseChain is you're basically already getting that trusted brand. It's the exact same thing as Ethereum, except for it's proof of stake versus proof of work. So it's just going to speed it up.
Exactly. And for those of you who don't know, that proof of work really is an environmental disaster, right? That's where all the a lot of the issues when it comes to the environmental impact really comes from when it comes to proof of work. E says, I sacrificed 2K at $1. I don't even know how much I'm like, all right, send it to this address. Let's see what happens. I saw like the little PulseX little chart they had on like you'd get the most money at one point. So I don't know how much PulseX I'm going to get airdropped, or I just don't know, but
we can find out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. How do you do that? Do you want to share your screen, or I probably need my wallet address, right?
You would need your wallet address, so I can't help you with that one, but you can go
Oh,
to pulsexlead.com.
PulseXlead.com. Let's see. PulseXlead. Let's see.
And let me make sure I got that right. I might have just rattled that off and been wrong.
PulseX. Yeah, let me go to Coin Market Cap, and then I go from there. I go to Hex, and I think I can find it on the website because there is a.
Oh no, that's right. Pulsexlead.com.
Oh, can you spell? So it's just PULSEX lead.com. PulseXlead.com. Oh, got it.
There, and then you just type in your Ethereum address and hit search.
I share. Yeah, just paste. I share my address with the stream usually, so it's all cool. Okay, so
yeah, as I say, so there you go.
All right, so it looks like I did 2 separate for about $1,000 each. So not too much, but don't want to put too much of the portfolio in there. This is my stream wallet. I have a wallet that I dedicate to the stream and whatnot, and we just kind of get into crazy shit.
No, that's great.
So that mults. So what does this mean? The rate per 1,000, mine's $7. So what does that mean?
Let me open up so I can see better. So estimated sack points. Okay, rate. Okay, so you sacrificed later.
Yes.
February 18th. So basically there was a growing
February 7th. So 2 different times.
Oh, I see. February 7th was the first. So this opened up, I just think December 30th or something like that. And the first 10 days, you got a rate of 10,000 tokens per dollar. And for you got 10,000 tokens per $7. So you paid 7 times more than I did.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So based on that, I'm already kicking ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people got it way early, but I mean, I didn't even know about this until like February. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a bad time to get in.
It's not a bad time to get in. I mean, people. I've talked to people where they're like, "Oh, I didn't get in until like." I mean, you're a perfect example. I paid $7 per 10,000, and everybody else paid $1. And listen, we're all so early. You got these tokens before it's even launched, dude. How cool is that? And then all we need to do is people like you, people like me making these type of videos, encouraging people to take a look at the Pulse chain. Everybody comes over, they take a look. One really cool thing about the PulseX is that decentralized exchange is it has a buy and burn function built into it. So 21% of all of the fees that are collected from the transactions that are happening on PulseX are going to go to buy the PulseX token and burn it. And it is a fixed supply of PulseX. So it's not a inflating supply. So it's going to be deflationary. And as more people come over and do transactions and they, provide liquidity and they try to maybe trade or sell the PRC 20 copies they've got, that's just going to be more volume. More volume buys and burns more PulseX, and you get this wheel of appreciation that's going to happen pretty fast with this token. So don't worry that you didn't get in at the first day. You're still way ahead of everybody.
Exactly. I could have gotten earlier, but hey, I feel like better late than never, right?
Oh man, absolutely.
Yeah. So people, when I say sacrifice, people are like, "What are you sacrificing? What, like your firstborn, a small lamb?" So you guys, sacrificing is literally just for tax purposes, in my opinion. I'm not sure how you feel on that, but when you listen to Richard Hart speak, he's very careful in what he says. Because there's a lot of things you have to really look out for, especially now with regulation coming. There's ways you have to say things because you can't just do this sort of thing without tax implications. But the fact that we're just giving this up for a product, like, hey, here's a donation, pretty much.
Yep.
I think that really saves him and all of us from like some tax stuff. Can you explain a little more on that?
I can is in the same kind of context you did. I'm not a tax professional, so don't take what I said verbatim. I'm not a financial advisor. I got to cover my ass here. But the most important thing with regulatory scrutiny is going to be, is this called a security? So Richard wants to make sure that this is not a security by any stretch of the imagination. And anything that is a security, kind of from a layman's standpoint, is if you buy into something early and they give you something of value early, and there is an expectation that that thing that you have purchased of value is going to go up in value, well, then it's a security. So by calling this a sacrifice, straight away, the word sacrifice means you're making this donation and you're not going to get anything back. You're sacrificing this. And so that kind of takes away that I'm buying something of value. Your sacrifice earns you the right to get what's called pulse points. And he kind of jokingly uses the example of, oh, just imagine that we're saying thank you for your sacrifice and we're sending you some Pokemon cards. That's kind of what the equivalent is we're going to give you these pulse points. It's like a Pokemon card. Thanks so much. Now, here's the thing though. What happened with Pokemon cards? The market established that there was value to them. So if the market establishes that there's value to these pulse points or these PULSEX points after the fact that they've been given to you at no charge, then, well, who cares? It's just the fact that you made a sacrifice without any expectation that that A, you're going to get anything, and B, that it's of value. And then they're going to give you a free thank you in the form of pulse chain points or PULSEX coins is really what it is. And then after that, if you, Rodney, decide that you want to take these free things you got and make a liquidity pair on the PULSEX change and see if somebody else out there wants to buy them, well, then there's nothing that can be said about that. That's the market acting. So that's basically what it boils down to is it's proper verbiage and expectation setting so that these can't be considered as security.
Yeah. True power to the people. I kind of like it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's a write-off. If you got a good enough accountant, your sacrifice can be a political statement write-off.
That's right, baby. So, that's one thing I'm really getting into is because this is like the first year I'm going to be really kind of just a 1099 employee. I mean, I do look like side gigs here and there, but YouTube has been going crazy. And so
awesome. Congratulations.
I have to get thank you. I have to get a tax person now to because I guess there's so many tax rules and things and write-offs that you can get just by working at home. I had no clue.
Yeah.
But so E says, Rodney, will you ask Crypto Kindness, does he think that the price will ever go lower than the $1 sack for 10,000 sacrifice rate on launch? Well, it depends, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but I think it will go less than $1.
Yeah.
Well, let me see. I want to make sure I understood this question right. So
I'll put it up.
I'm going to clarify. Rodney, think $1 for 10,000. So no, this question is the people that sacrificed the first 10 days that got the best rate, which was 10,000 sacrifice points per dollar. Will it go below that? I can only give you my opinion, and it's worth what you paid for it. But I don't think it's going to go below the best possible price. And here's why. Okay, yeah, stuff happens. Markets crash. There's always panic selling. But a couple of things to take a look at that lead me to my opinion here. First of all, you have two things that are happening that are very, very bullish for this project. Number one is that the people that sacrificed early, that sacrificed big and have big bags coming to them, they are the Hexakin community. Hex owners, by nature of how the Hex coin works, understand delayed gratification. So this is a community of people that spends a lot of money. They buy Hex, they stake it for the average is like 6 years. So they're just
that's crazy,
locking it up and walking away. So your biggest people bought in the first 10 days, which is at that $1 per 10,000 sacrifice points. Your biggest people that bought that are Hexakins. And I can promise you all of these people are not selling the coins they bought. So that's a big bag of liquidity that isn't going to be liquid. So yeah, so if there's a lot of points out there, but nobody's selling them, well, what does that do? It drives up the price because it's scarcity. Now, will people that got in later at say the $10 per 10,000 sacrifice, will they sell? Well, no, because they spent more. They spent 10x more than the guys early on. So my question, I guess to answer your question with the question is, who's going to be selling? Yep. Not many people. I mean, of course, there's always somebody that, this sacrifice was back at the beginning of July. Stuff happens, that was 7 months ago. Somebody might need some money and they might, sell on day one. But anything that's getting sold is going to get bought up real quick and there's going to be competition to buy it. So my personal opinion is I don't think we're going to see anything less than 0.00. I'm going to say 0.003 to 0.006 in price. 3 zeros or 2 zeros. I got to write it out. I shouldn't be doing math in public. My dad always told me that.
Yeah, that is a sin right there.
Yes, it is. So Yeah, I'm going to write that down because I want to not sound 3
Yeah.
zeros and a 3.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I've noticed about this community. That's really strong, man. I was like, oh my god. And the crazy thing is, do you have as of the price of about a week ago, I did a little research on it. You have 3,500 or 3,300 millionaires in this product, which to me is fucking insane. Speaking that you have 2,800 wallets, right? So you have 2,800 wallets that own Hex. A lot of them are, dust wallets where they're not in use, but a lot of the large majority of these wallets are being used.
Yes.
And 3,300 millionaires, and that's not even 100,000aires. That's millionaires just that hold Hex. That's crazy to me.
They've got a lot of money. I will set the record straight. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
I wish I was. I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't get in until we talked about it. I didn't get in until I think I bought in September.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get there. I mean, that's the goal, right?
That's it. And what's interesting is I can look back now that I'm pretty steeped in the Hex community. I look back and I think I could say, oh, well, I missed it. It had a 10,000x. All those guys are lucky. But let's look at what happened to Bitcoin. Did the guy that bought 2.5 years after Bitcoin launched, how's he doing today if he didn't sell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you and I
pretty
are.
Good.
Right? Yeah.
Pretty
exactly.
good.
And the people, look at the people that did, say, the ICO for Ethereum. They got it at 30 cents. And the day it launched at like $3. It went down from there after the launch, but it never got below its ICO price. And people that bought in the first year, they could say, well, I didn't get it at the ICO price. I had to pay, $1.50, or I had to pay $6. Well, they're still doing okay too. So kind of the whole idea behind why Richard invented a staking coin is he looked at Bitcoin. He was a Bitcoin maxi. And he saw that so many people, thousands of people, thought that they killed it. They got Bitcoin at $30 and they sold it at $150 and they thought they were heroes. But yeah, they made some money, but man, they missed out on the majority of it. So he said, how can I create a product that will keep people from themselves? You stake it. If you lock it up, you can't sell it. If you lock it up for 6 years, well, we know what happens to good crypto products over 6 years. They just go up. And so instead of getting excited and selling on a 2x or getting excited and settling on a 10x, if your stuff is locked up, you can't sell. So you just sit back and be like, oh, okay, might as well go to work. And then in 6 years, when it's $100 per hex, hopefully, man, then you've really done well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I try to teach to the community now, because we're all growing. My channel's called My Crypto Journey, and we're way more savvier than we were when we got it a little while ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy just being in the thick of it, being a content creator. You're in it, like you understand it. You're not just a guy who reads something about it every so often. And there's a lot of these products that pop up promising these things, but you have to look at the evidence that's given to us, right? We have someone like Richard Hart. Hex has been around for about 2 years, right? It's been around for about 2 years already, a little more. Over this time, a lot of people have made money. Got Crypto Kitty back here. Over that time, dude, 2 cats and a dog. I just got a German Shepherd, man. Life has been lit. I'll tell you that.
It's fun.
I got a little puppy. Yeah. Hex has been around the block. He knows how to. He knows it. If you listen to Richard Hart speak, like I know I always roast him because he has like a Louis Vuitton duck and I think it's over the top. It's crazy, but he knows his shit. That's what gets me, is that he knows what he's talking about. So all the evidence in front of me, I'm like, well, this is probably a good long-term project to get into, and I could probably trust this person. At the end of the day, it's a gamble, right? We don't know where Hex is going to be 6 years from now, but with all the evidence right now, seems like a good play, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's kind of it's interesting with crypto in general, because the fun thing about crypto is that you can make some buys, and you can, if you play your cards right, you can make big money in a really short period of time. But unfortunately, the data tells us that most people don't do that. Most people still get wrecked. No. And it's like the allure of the quick buck leads a lot of people to peril. One thing you can do to protect yourself is to buy a halfway quality project and then stake it. And if you do that, you're not going to be tempted to sell it when Russia invades whatever country they invade next. And, the shit hits the fan. If you just wait longer, I mean, look at what happened with the big recession in 2008. The sky was falling. And if you had just done nothing and kept your money in the stock market, you did freaking great. You killed it. But a lot of people pull out because I was reading something today. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a market psychology thing. And the guy said that people are more afraid of losing $100 than they are attracted to the idea of making 150. And so when bad things are happening in the market, people's reaction is, oh my God, I don't want to lose this $100. I'm going to pull it out now, even though I've lost some already, versus just having some critical thought and saying, look, I know how this works. It's done this 1,000 times more. If I just do nothing, I'm going to make $150 on the back end when this goes back up. But people can't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And staking Hex, or staking any product really that has some sort of time lock component to it, it protects you from you.
Exactly. There are a lot of products out there that let you stake your project, but there's no penalty for that. And that's sometimes, man, you need a penalty because there's nothing telling you like, hey, if I take out now, well, then what's the point of staking in the first place? Right. And I feel like you definitely need that.
A lot of I know you can stake on Binance, you can stake your BNB, but at most it's locked up for 7 days, right? You stake it in there, and then when you unstake it, you don't get it for 7 days. I mean, that's not a penalty. It's just a couple of days.
Exactly. Yeah. So very, very interesting. Now, Hex, the T-shares. What the heck is that about? Because I don't understand. I understand some of the products I'm in, but so I staked mine for a couple of years. I only did a couple $1,000s, but I did a couple of years just to see what happens. Yeah. I mean, I'm always down to get into some projects, So what's up with the T-shares? What is that? Can you explain it to people?
I can.
Yeah.
I don't know how well I'm going to explain it, but I can.
That's fine.
So have you ever gotten a letter? This is almost a silly question, but I don't want to make any assumptions. So for our listeners, if you keep money in a bank, whatever bank, Chase Bank, if you got $100 in whatever bank, I'm sure you've received at some point a letter in the mail that says it's an advertisement for a certificate of deposit. And when you get that letter in the mail, it's like, oh, give us $100 and we'll give you. It's funny to say out loud because in crypto you get such good rates, but the bank. I had one the other day. I was like, we'll give you 0.35% interest for 100 days. You're like, oh, what? Why would I do that? Yeah. But anyway, let me get to the example. So, so they'll always give you kind of like tiers. If you give us $100, you get 0.35. If you give us $10,000, we'll give you 0.5% interest. And then there's always this granddaddy. Like, if you give us $250,000, we're going to give you the best interest ever at 0.8% or something absurd. So think of T-shares as that's the granddaddy. That's the most Hex that you can own that gets you the best interest rate. So when you look at Hex, if you buy one T-share, you get the absolute best interest rate that the Hex contract offers you. That's all a T-share really is. And so T-share is trillion shares. I don't honestly have any idea how the number calculates to get you to the number of shares per dollar. But if you go to, there's a bunch of lookintohex.com. That's a really good.
Does it give you like the calculation of where you'll be at during the end of your stake? Because I've seen those.
Yeah, okay, you can do that. And the T-share gives you the best interest rate. Now, it's not to say you get a crap rate if you don't do the T-share. It's just that T-share is that threshold for the best interest rate. And the T-share price fluctuates, but they're one of the game theory components to Hex is that you can never, when you stake your Hex, at the very end of it, you can never end up with more T-shares than you started with because the T-share rate kind of always notches up a little bit. So that makes people want to, it's like buy today or tomorrow, you're not going to get as good of a rate. You're going to have to pay more for this T-share. So it's one of the game theory components to Hex that has made it very successful. For example, when I first got into Hex back in whatever, we'll call it early September, the T-share rate was, I think, somewhere in the high 17s, like 17,900 Hex per T-share. Well, today it's almost 21,000 Hex per T-share. So if I had bought Hex in September, let's say I bought one T-share in September at 18,000 Hex per T-share, and I didn't stake them, today I wouldn't have a T-share because the rate of T-share has gone up and my Hex is sitting liquid. So if you want to maximize your Hex returns, you buy a T-share today and you stake it today because then then you're putting to work that T-share in the contract under the staking contract is what it is. So, and then there's certain rate or certain times, like at 5 years, the T-share, the interest basically is double. So if you put in one T-share and you stake it for 5 years, when you take out your HEX, you'll have 2 T-shares. And then 10 years, it's doubled again. So you have 3 T-shares. And then 15 years is the max. And there's some more game theory that goes into that. But if you stake one T-share for 15 years or 5,555 days, which is the number that comes up, you get just crazy amounts of return off of that. It's I can't explain it great because I don't understand all the math behind it, but I can tell you if you're into math and you like return, look into HEX and you'll see that the game theory behind this is incredible.
Yeah, and the people have to understand that the average rate you get for staking your HEX is 38%. But that's not taking into account any price fluctuations when it goes to the positive side, because obviously the original HEX you stake is going to be worth more. Say, for example, the price goes absolutely crazy. Like it's at what, like 18 or 17 cents today, maybe like $1 or something crazy like that. Well, then the value of your original HEX that is staked goes up more. So it's going to be way more than 38% if that happens, correct?
Yeah. Oh man, that's just, yeah. So the interest that's paid in the HEX contract is it pays you in HEX. So if you bought 100,000 HEX and you staked it for 5 years and you end up with 200,000 HEX, well, if that HEX has gone up 5x in the meantime, you just double killed it. Essentially, you just got 20x return. So it's return on return as long as the price of HEX is appreciating. And the price of HEX, I mean, somebody could look at the HEX chart right now and say, "Oh my God, it's down 70%." Well, crypto does that. Every product. I mean, you guys know, especially in these lower cap coins, man, they can go up 10x and they can go down 90% in the span of 2 or 3 days. Like,
trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I've been on some projects, but I think that one of the things I always tell people to look for when you see a price fluctuation like that, one, how long has it been out? Because the longer things are out, the more they kind of move with Bitcoin in the market. If something's new, like it could just do what it wants. And then if you look at a project and nothing's fundamentally wrong with the project, the team is delivering, everything's fine, and the market is just down, well, it's probably not because of the project. It's probably because of the market. Now, if there's bad publicity, like, for example, Elon Musk going on Joe Rogan's show and smoking a blunt, which I don't care about, but people do, well, you're going to have people who panic and start selling Tesla because it obviously recovered in a great way. But, emotions move the market. But if there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the project and there's no headlines, it's probably just because it's moving with the market if it goes down.
Yep. And a couple two more things about HEX.
Yeah.
HEX is, for the most part, decorrelated from Bitcoin. So almost every coin out there is correlated to Bitcoin in some way, shape, or form. HEX is actually, its main liquidity pair is USDC. So when you get these huge fluctuations, like a market sell-offs because of Bitcoin movement, HEX doesn't move quite as much. It does, of course, but it's like, usually when Bitcoin sells off 20%, all of the other altcoins go down 30 to 40. And vice versa, when Bitcoin goes up a little bit, they go up more. HEX doesn't have those kind of wild swings. The other thing that's really neat about HEX right now is, as we were discussing earlier, when PulseChain is launched, HEX is an ERC20 coin, so you're going to get a copy of all your HEX on the PulseChain. So your stakes, Rodney, you said you have, what'd you say, 3-year stake of HEX?
2 year, but I think I'm going to raise it.
Okay, so you got a 2-year stake of HEX. You're going to get a copy of that in the form of PulseChain HEX. So you'll now have two stakes of HEX, one on Ethereum, one on PulseChain. So we were talking about the price parity earlier. If they achieve a price parity in the next 6 to 8 months, you could have just doubled your bag overnight.
Wow, that's crazy. Will I have to stake the new HEX, or will it already be staked? Do you know about that?
The new HEX, you're going to receive it in the exact same form that it currently is. And since your HEX is staked, the new HEX you get is going to be staked.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. People were telling me that. I mean, I was like, what? Like copies? I'm like, no way. But that's what it is. Copies.
It is. It's a copy.
That's crazy. Okay, so let's talk about you for a second. How did you get started in crypto, and what kind of brought you to cryptocurrency besides the allure of riches?
Oh, it's actually the desperation of missed riches. I've got a sob story, dude.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it. What you want to
2015.
share?
I'm a medical device rep. So I'm
Okay.
sitting down at lunch with a surgeon, and we're super cool, dude. We're just shooting the breeze, and he's like, "Hey, man, you ever heard of Bitcoin?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And the statement he said is funny based on what we know today, but this was 2015. He says, "Well, Bitcoin's kind of done its thing. You've already missed your opportunity to buy Bitcoin." But yeah, I mean, if I had just bought Bitcoin, then I'd be doing just fine now. But there's this great new product called Ethereum coming out, and I've been following it. This guy he's actually a Genesis wallet ETH guy. He's
Okay.
like, I know that this is a solid product. I know that it's going to really disrupt a lot of things, and it's going to do just as well, if not better, than Bitcoin. So you need to buy Ethereum. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I talked to my wife about it. We actually decided we were going to do this, and started finding out from him how to do it. And it wasn't easy to buy crypto back in 2015. There wasn't
I can't imagine.
exchanges. There wasn't, like, I had to call some dude at a firm in New York, and I had to wire money, and then they were going to send it to me on like a USB drive or something like that. And I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know enough. Seems fishy. So end of the story is I did not buy Ethereum at $6 in 2015.
Oh, Lord.
This
Hey,
dude took
man.
me out to lunch and served me a platter of $1 million bills, and I
Yeah.
didn't listen. So,
Were you like, are you gonna buy my damn medical device, my guy? Come on now.
yeah,
That's what I'm,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good and all, but what about this?
Yeah.
But super cool guy. I stayed in touch with him, still talk to him regularly. He calls me on uh, end of June, and he's like, "Hey, Jeff, I know that you kind of been kicking yourself about this Ethereum thing, so I'm going to tell you, I'm incredibly excited. This is the most excited I have been about a cryptocurrency since I bought ETH in 2014 for him. It's called the Pulse Chain, and there's a sacrifice happening. He told me about sacrifice. He's like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you I'm really excited about it, and I'm aping in. And I got off the phone with him. I looked at my wife, and I was like, how much money do we have in the bank that we can just light on fire right now? Because I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna kick myself twice. I learned the mistake the first time. So we went in. I'm not a crypto rich guy, so it's not like I got money coming out of my ears, but we put in
Yeah.
a sizable sacrifice on day one of Pulse Chain. So we maximized the bonus multipliers, and they got the best rate. And now we sit and wait and hope,
Yeah, exactly.
and make content. So I bring awareness to what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is like it's like nothing risk, nothing gain sometime in this
Yeah,
space. And
for sure.
I think that exactly. And the track record, I think really gives you confidence, in my opinion. The track record really gives you confidence. And I'm such a I'm so good at seeing through the bullshit because I'm surrounded by so many crazy ass communities that
Yeah.
when I listen to some hex people and I look at the facts, I'm like, okay, well, this seems pretty legit. Like I feel comfortable with this. Whereas there are some communities that are straight batshit crazy. You look at their white papers, you look at their projects, and you're like, well, no, no, I'm not going to put money into this long term.
No.
But I feel very comfortable with the project. So good for you guys that you guys got in. And that sucks that you missed Ethereum at that cheap price. I've been on the internet doing hooligan shit for quite a while. And Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has always been a part of that. And you always hear about it, but you're like, yeah, whatever. Fake
Right.
digital money, whatever. And now you're just kicking yourself like, oh my, I can't believe like people used to get paid in Bitcoin for like internet things or with video games and those sorts of things. It's insane, man. It's like the gold rush, but I still think we're super early in the grand scheme of things.
We're crazy early because think about, I don't want to say this in comparison, but just think about the dot-com bubble.
Same thing.
It's very comparable. I mean, there was certainly a lot of merit behind it because it was disruptive technology, and there's great companies. Everybody went out and created a .com, not too uncommon to what's happening here with a lot of the shit coins. But there was a crash, but the strongest survived, and I expect that that's going to happen time and time again with cryptocurrency because we've seen it. We've already seen three major corrections: 2015, 2017, and then the the COVID correction. But the difference is, unlike a tulip bubble or the housing bubble or any of this type of stuff, it came back, and it came back quick. Every time it came back within a year and a half, the prices were right back up, if not higher. So this is disruptive technology. And those that are in it today, even though it's quote unquote been around 8 years, 10 years, whatever have you, we're so early, dude. So it's early. Crazy. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting. And yeah, if you like just go back and watch a doc, I mean, I'm 30, but I was 10 when this was happening, but there's so much resources out there that tell you exactly like the kind of the same, it's the same thing that's happening. People didn't want to accept the internet. People didn't want to accept email. People didn't think that, this could be this and whatnot. And a couple years later, every fucking company has the internet and everyone's sending emails. It's like, good question from Just Ellis, which is probably the biggest hex guy I have on my channel, him and a few others. Says, Rodney, can you ask Crypto Kindness what he thinks about the governance token? So I know exactly what that is.
The governance token with PULSEX, the award token, is that what we're asking about?
I think that's what he means, and I think that governance just means like you have like a say in what policies and are going to be implemented on the project, right?
So, Just Ellis, I have to apologize. I'm not very well versed in this. I do know that the PulseX token itself is the governance token. If you own PulseX and you own a certain amount of it, then you will have a vote in the liquidity providing and stuff like that. The LP token that is coming out with PulseX, I think it just got named like a day or two ago. Honestly, I haven't followed any of the streams yet. I've been busy this weekend. And that's going to be, as far as I know, that's just going to be, you're going to be able to stake that. You're going to be able to stake your PulseX and earn some of the liquidity providing token. But I don't know all the benefits of having that. I don't know if that's going to be comparable to, say, like a syrup token with PancakeSwap. That's, has a little bit of price action early on, but then it's just a token that gets dumped. I don't know if it's going to have staking capabilities. I apologize. I don't want to give assumptive answers to a straightforward question and be wrong. So I'm not going to wager that.
I think that's what you're talking. I think that's the second thing, half of what you're talking about. Like it's coming out after, Just Ellis said it's coming out after Pulse Chain. So yeah, it's going to be another token that could be good or not. And if you're using it to provide liquidity, you usually get some of those fees. So that's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it's going to, I know that it's going to provide fees. It's going to be a good thing to have. I just don't know much more past that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, man.
I'm in a few products right now that actually have governance tokens, and then you get a say in any kind of thing they want to implement or something like that. And I like it because it's a DAO, right? It's power to the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it Uniswap a governance token itself? Like if you own 4% or more of Uniswap, you get a say in what goes on in the exchange?
I'm actually not sure, but I would think so because it's decentralization, right? Like that's the beauty of it. That's power to the people. Yeah, but I like the tokens that actually do like a combination of time in and amount of holding, because any jackass with a lot of money could just come in and be like, all right, I got it all. I'm saying it all, so time in and stuff is nice. How do you feel about the metaverse? Are you familiar with that at all?
I am familiar with the metaverse. I gotta say, I'm ambivalent. I don't have any feelings one way or the other. On one hand, I can see the argument that it's just all, I don't want to say fraud, but kind of a scam and a place for people to go and create tokens and create money out of thin air, which, hey, that's fine. Great. But I could also see a lot of utility in the future. It really, I have mixed feelings on it. It's one more thing I don't want to have to learn about, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a whole. I've been learning about that recently, man. Like content creator. I mean, it's like, golly, it's insane how deep it goes. And Chase Bank just bought like a little part in one of the biggest metaverse.
That's what that's what I don't get is like people are buying real estate in the metaverse. It's like, what?
It's expensive.
So let me ask you then, because let me flip that question back to you. What do you think about the metaverse? What can you help me learn?
Oh, so we've always had metaverses, right? When it comes to like online gaming or, just like things like World of Warcraft. Have you ever heard of that? Or like The Sims? Like
for sure.
You make avatars. But the difference between this metaverse compared to those metaverses is that this one's on the blockchain. It's decentralized, right? So said company goes out of business. Well, then, you lose all the shit you have in the metaverse. But Decentraland, the sandbox, created a metaverse. And it's like, all right, Here you guys have it. We'll propose things, but you guys get to vote on them, like governance, like a true DAO. And everything you own in the metaverse are NFTs. So they're on the blockchain. So they kind of always exist. And you could trade those properties and whatever items there are in the metaverse seamlessly. It's like Snoop Dogg has property in the metaverse, or someone just sold a yacht for $660,000 in the metaverse.
I saw that. What?
That's so the cool thing is, think about NFTs in the blockchain. It shows ownership like this. What kind of, you have to go through so much shit to buy a yacht in the real world or buy like a house in the real world. I know it's virtual reality, but in the blockchain, it's like, all right, boom, you're validated. Boom, this thing belongs to you. You know, it is your unique identification. And in the real world, you're signing papers and those sorts of things and whatever. But the biggest thing is that it's decentralized. And unlike other video games or metaverses, if for some reason you were to lose, the company would scrap, you wouldn't lose everything since you're on the blockchain.
Did I just disappear?
Yeah, it looks like you are now just the Hex, the PULSEX, and the Pulse Chain logo. So
I'll change my camera real quick.
Yeah.
How do I do that? Where's my settings? This happened to me the other day. I don't know what's going on.
No, it was 660K, just Alice. It wasn't 15K. It was a lot. Oh, there you are. Yeah, it was almost.
Camera, I apologize.
Oh, that's cool, man. I mean, I had to upgrade the studio pretty hard because I do this. I literally do this full time. I don't know if you noticed.
I did notice it. All the time. So, yeah. You know, I've got some of my followers watching this that might not be familiar with you. Give me a little background on your story. I know your guys have heard it. They're probably like, oh, whatever. But I'd love to learn about you, man.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually started dabbling in cryptocurrency when it became available on Robinhood. That's how I got into it. And I like the idea because you didn't need $25,000 to day trade. You could just do it whenever. You could do it with $10. It was unlimited. And I thought it was just interesting. And then I really started getting into cryptocurrency because of the shit coins, the Doge coins, the E-News, but original investments were into Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, stuff like that. And so I just got into it. I got lucky on a few really good plays that are just typical shit coins now. And I just became obsessed. And I just started making crypto content on my phone. I started just like literally like screen recording and voice recording. And then like the channel started to blow up a little bit. I mean, the growth has slowed down quite a little bit. I made my channel in end of October. And, you know, we just kind of moved with the crypto smaller cap community token craze. And as I've been in this sphere, I've started having bigger interest in other projects. Cool. I just think there are better things out there that are not gambling. It's gambling. What we're doing right now, it's gambling. In my community, it's gambling. And I'm not addicted to gambling. I don't have that gene in me that wants to make a ton of money overnight. I just don't. But it is fun. So, you know, I just kind of became obsessed with it and started making content. And that's pretty much where I'm at. And then I have a cryptocurrency portfolio that's very diversified. I'm not rich or anything like that I'm in Southern California. I mean, I need a lot of money to be rich over here, but I began to diversify and started looking at the top 10, 100 projects, and I'm obsessed. Yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious. I mean, when you sent me this request to do a video, I look over and I'm like, man, this guy's got 16,000 followers. What are you interested in talking to me for?
No, because you have a specific interest, you know, in Hex, and I think a lot of people should know about it. I think it's a good project, objectively, you know. And I saw your channel, and honestly, I looked for these Hex tutorials everywhere, and no one had one as thorough as yours with descriptions and links. I'm like, oh shit, I need to get this guy on the channel.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. So what products are you into right now that you're talking to your crew about that you're most excited about?
Man, I'm into a few experimental ones. One is called the Olympus DAO, which is very similar. Crazy APY literally has taken a shit. It's down like 90% since the peak, which is all right. I've been able to DCA into it, and I have a good amount of that. So if that ever pumps again, see ya, streaming from a yacht, baby. But right now, it's not looking so good. So I like that one, but very experimental. I do like crypto.com. I'm a huge UFC fan, and I think that they're just so marketable. Big partnerships with LeBron, own so much utility, their own blockchain, staking, acquired the Staples Center or took the name or rights to it or something like that. I think it's very marketable. So I like crypto.com. I like BNB. I think BNB is underrated. I think that the blockchain is synonymous with rug pulls right now, but I think that in the future, people are going to understand that it's a good blockchain and it's better than using Ethereum. I like Ethereum because I think it's the granddaddy.
Yep.
I like Decentraland because of the metaverse. I think that's very good. So a lot of those top 10, top 100 projects I really do like, including Hex now because I like staking.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to encourage you to add Pulse Chain to that because I think Pulse Chain 100%. Is going to bring a lot of people a lot of wealth. Have you, while I'm talking about that, I want to give you and your listeners an opportunity to get some free Pulse Chain. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Send it.
Let's share your screen. I'll have you do this for me.
All right. Share.
Screw it up.
Okay.
All right. Go to freepulse.io.
Freepulse.io. Shit. That's
so what we have here, what is really cool about the Hex community is that those that have been successful in Hex are the same people that are marketing Pulse Chain and PULSEX and trying to drive awareness and bring people to this chain. So the two gentlemen that built this freepulse.io are early Hexicans. They've done really, really well. And they threw in a really big bag of sacrifice for the Pulse Chain. And they're taking some of it and they're literally giving it away as a marketing campaign when Pulse launches. So on the day of launch, and you can even do this right now since you've got your test network open. Go ahead and log in with MetaMask and you can get some free test Pulse.
Okay, let's go. Let's Pulse Chain testnet. Okay, I'm going to switch to my experimental account. Okay, so log in.
Yep.
Okay.
And then once that goes, it's basically a daily drawing that you can do once an hour that you get free Pulse. When the Pulse Chain launches, they will literally just give you free Pulse. And they've got some fun little games over on the side, some gambling, blackjack.
Got it.
Like this. It's a gaming thing. But if you just wanted to do the free Pulse, yeah, there you go. There's a
got it. Okay.
So, but if you go back to the home page,
let me see.
Lottery.
Okay.
Oh, did you do it? Yeah, you must have just done it.
Let me see. Right here.
Yeah, so you got what? 1, 2, 7, 5. They give you $1 million.
Wait, no, I don't think I got it.
Let me see. Let me open this up.
Let me see. Lucky number +7 free.
Did you do a spinning or a drawing? Did you hit that button?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't hit anything yet. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh no, that's for
So this is just a test net right now, though, right? This
is a test net right now. So anyway, when this launches, when Pulse launches, you will be able to come to this website and once an hour, just do a little drawing. You click the button and it'll do the roulette number and it'll stop on some numbers. And that's how many Pulse they're going to give you. And, best case scenario, they'll give you up to $200 worth of Pulse a day.
Nice.
But okay. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I sacrificed for Pulse Chain and I've got 3 different wallet addresses. I'm going to be on this website for like the first 7 days trying to build my bag. So, you guys can get out there. If you miss the Pulse Chain sacrifice, you can still get some free Pulse compliments of some Hexicans that, were successful and want to give back to the community and want to encourage people to come over and check out what's happening on the Pulse Chain. This is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'll go ahead and do right now. I'll go put a link to this in the description down below if you guys want to play. So the Olympus DAO has something similar to this, but they don't have that many games, which I think is pretty cool.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the description to this, or the link to this in the description. If you guys want to check that out, you could definitely do that. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to start covering this more. What's crazy is that I don't make too many Hex videos, but when I do, they get a lot of views compared to like new experimental. People like Hex.
People like Hex. There's an interesting camp. There's Hexicans support Hexicans. So if you make Hex content or Pulse content, the people in the community will come and support you. There's also this, I think, a bigger community of people that are out on the fringe that really want to get in, but they're just so worried because it's been called a scam for so long that they're just like toe in the water. And those people come and watch your videos too, because it's like they're either looking for a reason to love it or hate it, but there's a lot of them. So Pulse Hex, PulseX content, there's a lot of really good people in here, man. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like cryptocurrency. If you go high enough and look at anything, anything looks like a Ponzi scheme. Every
Yeah.
project in cryptocurrency, if you go high enough, looks like a Ponzi scheme. But before we get out of here, what I do have to say is that we are in a lot of projects right now where they're shaky and a lot of shady things are going on. The thing I can respect about Rich leading this project is one, he debates openly anyone who doubts him. He's been on multiple shows where people are asking him the hard, tough questions. And I always appreciate this. And this is what I say. Anyone who's ever run a company or business, I don't care if that person is making money. I don't care if they're flaunting that money, as long as they're bringing everybody else up with them. In fact, I want them to be taken care of, because I think if you build something from the ground, if you build something from the ground up, you should be able to live your best life, because that's your life's work. So people always get mad at that. I'm like, who cares if we're all winning, who cares?
I would encourage anybody that if you haven't already listened to a Richard Hart stream, listen to one or two of them and understand that he is pretty full of himself. You got to know that going into it, because he can turn a lot of people off. But if you can stick around long enough to listen to him start to talk about the data behind the coins and the things he's built and the game theory and all this type of stuff, as Rodney mentioned early, the guy is incredibly smart and he knows what he's talking about. And if you can stick around long enough to pick that up, you'll understand why his community is so strong and his products are doing so well.
You don't even have to look at the videos. Just listen to it.
Listen. That's almost better. Just listen.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, oh my God, he has his watch collection. Oh my God. I get it. It's to me, it's kind of corny, but just listen.
I agree. I would, one other thing I'll point out just is to the excitement level behind Pulse Chain. I really do want to encourage your followers to look into this, because I think there's a tremendous opportunity. If you look at the history of the three products that Richard Hart has put out now, like Hex, Hex launched really, really small. I don't know how much, but I know it was significantly less than 100 million when it launched. When the Pulse Chain did its sacrifice, it was close to 800 million that was sacrificed for the Pulse Chain. It might have been over $1 billion if you add in the Bitcoin and a few others. I apologize, I don't have that number off the top of my head. But then you look at what just happened with the PulseX sacrifice, and it was like 1.3, what are we looking at here?
A market cap of I don't know why CoinGecko is not tracking the market cap of Hex right now, which is crazy. But it shows the volume just goes insane if you go to the Hex's inception, right?
Yeah.
It shows you the volume that the token was getting, and then boom, out of nowhere explode,
Yeah.
But this is CoinGecko usually shows the market cap. So I was trying to prove your point here, to see what Hex started off with, But continue your
a great website for Hex, and actually a lot of Binance Smart Chain coins, is Nomics. Do you ever use Nomics.com?
Nomics. Oh, you mean ERC20? Nomics? Or just Binance Smart Chain?
No, I don't use Nomics. I mean, it's a market cap,
or
it's a coin ranking site, but you'll see on this one, Hex is like 10th or 11th.
Oh, they actually do it right?
They do it right.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of coins on here that they actually do right. If you look at the top 100 coins here, it's going to be very different than CoinMarketCap, because they rank them all based on true market cap, not whatever fictional numbers that CMC uses. Yeah,
CMC is kind of, it's funny because I actually did a video for CMC. I'm supposed to be joining their team. We'll see about that. But I don't agree with their ranking system. It's just all ass backwards. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe this will be a good resource for you.
Actually, we'll actually start using this. Nomics, okay. Do they have mock portfolios and shit you do?
I honestly don't know. I haven't played with it that much.
Okay.
But this is what I use exclusively, just because it ranks everything properly.
Yeah, it's actually decent looking too. CoinGecko just looks like a first grader made it. I hate it.
That is very true.
Yeah.
And you can go back down to price history, and it actually gives you what everything's traded for on any given day. It's really crazy.
Yeah, right here. Whoa. That is crazy. How come we don't know about this?
Right? Hey, I brought you something new. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, Nomics. Okay, I think we might just start using this. And I like the black theme too. It looks way better.
Yeah, it's a really good site.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. Does it have market cap, historical data?
Yeah, so go to historical data, and it'll actually show you what the coin's traded for every single day. So if you go back to Hex's launch.
Let's go last down here. Last. Neato. Okay, yeah, 2019. Yep, December. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that supply, man.
Tiny.
Tiny. Wow. And it's now 17 cents. That burned what? One, two. Yeah, a couple zeros, man. A few zeros. Wow.
Yep. It's all time low. It actually it went down to 4 zeros and a 5 after it launched.
Yeah.
Well, after something called Big Payday, that doesn't really matter for the sake of this conversation. But so when people hear Richard say it did a 10,000x, he's talking about all-time low to all-time high, not launch to all-time high.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. Launch to all-time high, I think, is like a 4,000x, which is still pretty good.
Pretty good. People are like, oh, it's 4,000x. Yeah, try getting that in your 401k, you know?
Oh, dude. If PulseChain does a 4,000x, I'm going to be buying a yacht that is not in the metaverse.
Yeah, exactly. All right. An actual yacht. I could actually feel it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's about what we got, man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Oh, this is my pleasure, Rodney. It's great to meet you. It's a lot of fun to talk to you. If anybody in your community wants to reach out to me, you can hit me up. My Twitter handle is @kindnesscrypto, and Crypto Kindness is my channel. I see you've got that scrolling on the bottom. I really appreciate you sending out 100%. Some love there. Do you mind linking, if you can put in the description or something, a link to the video where I did the test net? So if your subscribers have any questions, they can go straight to that.
100%. Yes. And of course, all links to Crypto Kindness' social media, YouTube, all that good stuff are in the description down below. So you can go ahead and check them out. Of course, I've been retweeting the video. So I think it's going to be the 12-minute one right here.
Yep.
Full tutorial. I'm going to put that right. Yeah. Let's go to YouTube. Full tutorial. The entire tutorial is going to be labeled full tutorial underneath this video. And yeah, feel free to share this video if you want. Crypto, what's your actual name?
Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to share that. I mean, people are fucking crazy on the internet, but they're usually just crazy with me because I talk bad about their community token sometimes. So a lot of people are more secret. But yeah, feel free to check out Jeff. Links to all his stuff is in the description, and let's get together in the future, man. I'm sure that when this stuff drops and things are looking good, maybe 6 months to a year from now, maybe we'll both be sitting real pretty.
Dude, I would love to. I'll absolutely stay in touch with you. This has been a pleasure. I know you're a wealth of knowledge. I can learn a lot from you, so thank you.
Likewise, brother. All right. Thank you so much, brother.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. You guys stay